It's quite unique, though. It is unique, Miten, that two people have this sharing, and that the ego isn't in the way. So clearly, isn't in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or with each other in your relationship, either. It feels as if that doesn't seem to get in the way too much. The ego, and back to your relationship again.
I mean, our relationship, we formed some good foundation when we were back there at 20 and 42. You know, when we had the chance to live in a way that a spiritual enlightened master has suggested. We were living in this ashram, and we had the opportunity to live in a certain in an understanding of freedom, let's say, or friendliness and friendship. And I had the chance to do that because I was so much older than her. I couldn't dream a marriage, which is what you naturally do, I think, when you meet somebody you feel attracted to. Somewhere subconsciously you see yourself in the future together or something. I never had that. It was like, this is so off the wall, and it's so beautiful. The last thing I want to do is to put any kind of, any kind of barrier around this young girl. She's in the sex guru's ashram, So, I'm not that guy, I was like, I want you to enjoy. This is a garden of Eden. It's like, and I didn't have to tell her that because she was, but it was good for me for us both to see what that feels like and felt like, to actually continue, to live that and see it's nice. It's actually nice. It's like there was when, say, Deva had gone off for a date and she had a night with a guy or something, which is natural. When we met again, it would, instead of it being like what you might expect, it was in a deeper friendship, even to the point where I'd feel like her girlfriend. We would share what the night was like, and it just helped me to let go of any kind of old pattern of jealousy, because there was a chance here that I could live something new. And it wasn't that it was easy for me when she went away, but it was interesting and it was strong, because she didn't know whether it was the last time she was going to see me, I didn't, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I didn't know whether she was going to fall in love with the guy she was going off with, and the guy didn't know what he was getting into, because he knew he was somehow coming into some kind of relationship. But because it was and I like to look at it as a huge tantric experiment that was going on in that ashram, that we had a chance to live it, and what we discovered, personally what I discovered through it, was that I've never had such a deep relationship with a woman in my life, never. And it was all based on, I don't want to be in your way ever, anytime, never. And I'm just not even expecting the same, but that's how we've always lived. And it doesn't mean to say that either of us are jumping around in people's beds all the while, but it's just an understanding that we don't live with those concepts. And I think that's been, and that along with the music and sharing those two things, and a very deep connection to our guru, like he is my guru, like it or not. And in sometimes I wouldn't, like they say, like the guru chooses you, and because if I'd have chosen a guru, I don't think I would have chosen a guy like Rajneesh, because he was out on the edge, and he pulled us all out on the edge with him, and it was a great thing to be out there. It was scary, and it was alive, and it was real, and it still is, So for me, of course, then there's casualties out there, and then if you focus on it like the media would, for instance, and the casualties light up, but the on the whole, that was so incredible experience, for me, and it out of that came a connection to spirit through music, and and a realization that we are all one.
And as you're talking, you're reminding me of living on the edge, I still do live on the edge. But I'm just wondering how you still live. How do you see yourselves still on the edge?
Well, we don't have any restrictions about each other. We don't really have any possessions. We travel 9 months of the year all around the world, non-stop. We spend 3 months in Australia. Those 3 months are spent on tour in the cities there and doing a retreat. So we are constantly in a state of flux. We can't buy a house. We're never there. We don't have anything to do. This is my possession. It's the only thing I've got.
Kind of.
Well, yeah, I've got.
That's.
Well,
I've poetic license.
Oh, you haven't had a go at him for a little while.